said that that the explanation without God for morality is that we are socially pushed to have morals and laws and such. And I would argue that I agree with you, it is a social aspect, but it's more of self-preservation, which is one of our most basic instincts. That we have morality in our culture to self-preserve so that laws protect people. And I think that's a much more grounded argument rather than that we have a God that gave us morals, that morals come from self-preservation of the whole.
Well, that was what I said in defense of premise 2, that if God does not exist, objective moral values and duties would not exist. They would be the byproducts of biological evolution, as you say. Altruistic and cooperative behavior gives a species a better chance in the struggle for survival than if they go their own individual way as mavericks. And then on top of that, you get social conditioning layered on. But that means that moral values and duties are not objective. They're not really true or binding. If the film of evolution were rewound and shot over again, very different creatures with very different set of values might have evolved. And who are we to say that we're right and they would be wrong? So it seems to me that on the view you're explaining, that just is the affirmation that if God does not exist, there are no objective moral values and duties. And I think that contradicts our moral experience in premise 1, that it really is wrong, for example, to kill little children, to torture children, wife abuse, intolerance, and all the rest, as well as the many goods that there are, such as love, open-mindedness, fair play, and so forth. So I just see no reason to deny what my moral experience teaches me with regard to premise 1. Yes?
I would say, I would agree with that if in the reformulated universe, if we started again and changed everything, that if that self-preservation is not so important. But I think they are objective because self-preservation is what all of our laws, all of our morals are meant to do. They're meant to give us the best life, the longest life, the most prosperous life. So if you reworked everything so that self-preservation wasn't as important, that might be true. But I think that any intelligent being would have self-preservation as one of the most basic instincts.
But I don't think you are grasping the point that once you admit that, all you are offering is a kind of conditional obligation. See, if you want to preserve yourself, then you ought to cooperate and so forth. Now, of course, the psychopath who doesn't care can go ahead and murder and rape as he chooses, and on your view, or the atheistic view, he does nothing morally wrong. He's just antisocial. He doesn't know what's in his best self-preservation or interest. And I think that's morally unconscionable. That's outrageous. I see no reason to affirm such a thing. I mean, if you had a good argument for moral relativism, that would be something else. But in the absence of some defeater of premise 1, it seems to me we ought to go with our moral experience that there really are objectively binding and true values, and that these are not just the relative byproducts of social and biological evolution.